good friend, who is also a Front Porch podcast producer and an unofficial patron saint, asked me to write about what it's like to face death daily. That sounds melodramatic, and I don't intend it that way. I'm not a police officer, firefighter, or member of the military. People don't make any special effort to kill me. I'm just not that important. I have little of value to steal. The studio setup would probably get you a few dollars at a pawn shop. There's certainly not enough to risk going to prison for the rest of your life, or worse, having Speedy Shine jump on you. If you try to pick him up, he'll probably bite you. We're working on that. I have some PetSmart virtual training coming up in a couple of weeks. Nevertheless, I do, in fact, have to recognize that if I lose balance, I can die before I even finish writing or recording this episode. We covered the details of diabetes last week, and I'm not going to go through them again beyond the context you need to understand this. Please refer to The Tightrope of Diabetes, which is episode 197, if you're scrolling through the show looking for it. Diabetes is not the only danger I face. Fred's Front Porch Podcast is made possible by our patron saint, Edith Keeler, our unofficial patron saints, Boo Radley, Shoshana Edwards, and Miss Maudie, our producers, Coralie Day with Scott Knight, and the people on the porch. Welcome, fellow traveler, on this rock tumbling through space. I'm Fred, and this is my front porch. Come on up and sit a while. There are ideas to be discussed on this old set of nicely nailed together boards. Facing Death Daily, Diabetes 102. I haven't been able to feel my feet in nearly 7 years. I can fall, and if I'm not careful, I will. I might be lucky enough not to hurt myself too seriously, and perhaps I'll be able to get up again, but that is by no means certain. I no longer have the rubber bones we all seem to have when we're toddlers. Mine are old and brittle, ready to snap at the earliest opportunity. I live alone, so if I'm unable to get up, unless I have my phone on me, I will just lie there until someone decides to come and check on me. Stephanie, my best friend, certainly would, but it could be as much as 24 hours before she did. In that time, it would be simple to slip into either DKA or a coma. Either way, I would be equally dead. DKA, for a brief review, is diabetic ketoacidosis. This occurs when your blood sugar gets too high, at least 250 milligrams per deciliter, which is the measurement used in America, and 11.36 millimoles per liter in the UK. And your body begins to throw off ketones. I usually need to get above 400 before I'm in trouble. You may be different. These can be measured by peeing onto a special strip. The darker the strip turns, the worse shape you're in. DKA will dehydrate you, and if you don't stop it in time, you will begin to vomit, thereby further dehydrating yourself. Without hospitalization, you will surely die an ugly death. When they take you to the hospital, you're unreasonably thirsty, and they won't give you any water because you'll just throw it up and make things worse. They hook you up to IVs to start repairing all the damage. I can't begin to tell you how little fun it is to be hooked up to IVs. If your blood sugar gets too low, below 70 milligrams per deciliter is dangerous, below 50 milligrams per deciliter is severe. You're no longer able to think coherently. While I know right now that if my numbers drop, I need to eat. When it gets too low, I may not know that anymore. When it gets low enough, I'll slip into a coma. I had a friend who died this way. My former roommates saved me from that several times. I live alone with Speedy Shine now. I'm not overstating the case when I say I face the possibility of death daily. My friend wanted to know how I manage this. I think it's worth discussing because, once again, I'm not unique in this struggle. There are more than 500 million of us on Earth right now. One of us dies from diabetes every 5 seconds. There is a wealth of diabetes information in the link below. Check the transcript.
Starting my very own dogcast. It will be on one time every time the moon does all its stuffers and is all the different shapesers and sizes. That's how often the smelly old man goes out to dinner with Pretty Girl, and that's the only time I can get to the studio to work. You can get lots of Speedy Shine stuffers on the smelly old man's Patreon page. He just gifted me my very own tears singing. Jumps and kisses.
First, for me, it's about acceptance. I'm the least Christian person you probably know, but there is one prayer I love above all others. Just as Shine by Sarah Nimitz and Snuffy Walden is my favorite hymn, this is my favorite prayer, attributed to Reinhold Niebuhr, Lutheran theologian, 1892 to 1971. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't tell you a thing about God. You can find billions of others for that. I can tell you, though, that serenity, courage, and wisdom are essential for me. Serenity. The first step is accepting that I can't change my diabetes. I checked on Amazon and it turns out they don't have a new pancreas to replace mine. They don't have new legs to replace mine either, so I need to be as careful as I can. Death is one of the few things that truly is inevitable. The healthiest human on earth, with all the best medical care, is still going to expire within less than 2 centuries. There is nothing to be done to change that, at least right now. I keep hoping for a world in which science finds a way for all of us to live indefinitely. I believe it's possible. I don't believe we're there yet. I don't believe we'll make it within my lifetime. I've heard of a little baby named Layla. She's the granddaughter of my coach. I hope she gets to live indefinitely. I hope all her ancestors will too. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions of years before I was born and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. I can't find evidence Twain actually said this. Lots of sites attribute it to him, but I was unable to find the book or lecture or letter in which he said it. Whether he said it or not, the point is worth considering. Death is a natural state. I feared it when I was a child. I used to have dreams of lying in my coffin, completely unable to move, while worms worked their way inside it and inevitably consumed me, excruciatingly slowly, bit by bit. As I grew up and began to understand death a little more clearly, it dawned on me that I couldn't possibly suffer in the way I did in so many nightmares. There will be no Fred there to experience it. Whatever it is that makes me Fred will be absent when my heart stops beating and my brain shuts down. I will be a computer that has been turned off. I can't be turned on again, regardless of the Genesis song. If you haven't heard Turn It On Again, you really should find it on Spotify. I'm not Teddy. All that said, I'm still hoping to be cremated. I would like my ashes dumped into San Francisco Bay, near the place we end up putting my parents' ashes when the time comes. There's a line from Katharine Hepburn in On Golden Pond.
Oh, it feels odd. Cold, I guess. Not that bad, really. Not so frightening. Almost comforting. Not such a bad place to go. I don't know.
Ernest Thompson, from his screenplay, 1981. I feel that way. I know it will happen, and to a certain extent, it will be a relief. I can't get in trouble anymore. I don't have to worry about whether anyone likes my writing or listens to my show. I don't need to seek any longer the sexual satisfaction that diabetes has stolen from me. And from that, I draw courage. I'm not a fool. I recognize that I'm in peril every day. While I was writing this, my continuous glucose monitor, CGM, went off to tell me my blood sugar was perilously low. I should eat dinner, but I'm deep into my writing session and I don't want to stop right now. I went to the bathroom and got some glucose tablets. They'll buy me enough time to finish this. I hope. I hate to stop when the words are ready to come out. If I stop them, I can't necessarily just turn on the faucet again. Courage isn't being without fear. It's being able to recognize that fear and keep it from keeping you from doing what you know you should be doing. In my case, what I should be doing is writing and recording as much as I can, as quickly as I can. I want to make all the difference I can before I can't anymore. I live by the words of Emily Dickinson. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Emily Dickinson, If I Can Stop One Heart from Breaking. I don't have any heroism in the traditional sense in me. I won't be rescuing a baby from a burning building. I couldn't even get inside of a building of any sort without some kind of help. The only thing I can do to improve the world is what I'm doing every single week on this show. I'm talking about ways to improve the world in the hope that someone, somewhere, will respond. I'm hoping someone will make the changes I can't. Supposedly, Albert Camus said, "To believe you can change the world is insanity. Failure to try is cowardice." I can't verify that, however, and I have only my late father's word for it. Once again, though, it doesn't matter who said it. The idea is correct. I have no more chance at success than either Atticus Finch or Hemingway's Santiago, and I have the same moral responsibility to try. I wanted you to see what real courage is. Instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand, it's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through, no matter what. Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Here I am seeing it through. That's what courage is to me.
This is Speedy Shine, and I'm here to tell you that you can get a sticker with me on it if you join Smelly Old Man's Patreon. You can try it out for a whole month for free. If you like it, it's only $5 a month, and then I can get some more treatsers. I would jump on you and give you kisses, but you're not on the front porch yet. See you soon.
Wisdom. This is the most difficult to obtain. It's not simply possession of a set of facts. It involves, oh my, I need to go for a bit. Good morning. I had to stop last night because even with the glucose tablets, my blood sugar kept dropping, and I was no longer able to see the screen properly. My brain began to shut down. I grabbed a candy bar. That should have moved my blood sugar up considerably. The reading dropped even farther. I got down to 50, and I felt my heart rate increasing. That may well have been fear. I couldn't think straight at that moment. I finally made a bowl of cereal. That usually forces me to take a lot of insulin to keep from going up way too high, and I knew that. But I did it anyway. I wasn't going to die if I could help it. When I began to see colorful spots in front of my eyes, I thought seriously about calling 911. I don't want to overreact if I can avoid it. Even with Medicare and Medicaid, there will be a bill involved that I can't possibly pay, and I don't care to take paramedics away from others who may need them more badly. After about 20 more minutes, I began to be able to think clearly. My first instinct was to take a shot to counter all the food I just ate. That would probably have been the best choice, but I was still scared to death. I couldn't bring myself to do it. That, of course, meant that a couple of hours later, my alarm went off to warn me my glucose was too high. I took a small shot. I went back to sleep. 2 hours later, when I woke up, it was over 400, which is as high as the Libre can count. I took a bigger shot. I peed on a keto stick to see if I had ketones. Since there were no ketones, I was less concerned. I woke up a few hours later, and I was at 128. That's as close to perfect as one is going to get. So, to return to how I handle all this, wisdom also comes into it. As I said before I was attacked by my diabetes, it's more than being in possession of a set of facts. Last night, I had a set of facts. I knew how to interpret them, and I knew what I was supposed to do to change the things I can. Perhaps I lacked the courage to do what my wisdom told me to do. That's another sort of balance that is difficult to achieve. Life is, I suspect, in one form or another, a balancing act for all of us. Was it Socrates who called it the golden mean? I could look it up, I suppose, but I don't care enough to bother. The idea is valuable. We need to decide what is most important at any given moment and pay attention to that detail without losing sight of all the other moments that make up a life. Life is, as John Lennon told us, what happens while we're busy making other plans. I was planning to write all night. Life happened. Since I managed to recover, I can continue to write this morning. This is what it is to live daily, with the distinct possibility you won't wake up tomorrow. It's a matter of accepting that death isn't the worst thing that can happen, and that we need to make use of the time in front of us because it can be gone suddenly and permanently. Depression is a big part of the challenge. People with diabetes are 2 to 3 times more likely to have depression than people without diabetes. Only 25 to 50% of people with diabetes who have depression get diagnosed and treated. But treatment, therapy, medicine, or both, is usually very effective. And without treatment, depression often gets worse, not better. That will be in next week's episode. For tonight, let's enjoy the minutes we still have. Let's embrace the life in front of us, because we have no idea how much more of it we have left. Let's shine while we can.
Next week on Fred's Front Porch Podcast.
Understanding those who are outwardly like us is difficult enough. Understanding people who are significantly different from us is an almost impossible task. Today, I'm going to help you understand some diabetics. I wouldn't dream of speaking for all of them. We're all unique, and all our struggles are our own. No one shares all of them. There are obstacles some face that others don't, but there are a few that are common to all of us. And one struggle the diabetics are more likely to face than other people is depression. The following are people who are deeply important to me, and to Speedy Shine, who now has his very own tier. These people keep us alive, and they give us a reason to continue doing our shows by giving us their time. Our minutes are our most precious possessions, and we're both grateful you grant us some of yours. We live in a world dominated by the need for money. Thank you for giving us some of yours. It makes more difference than you probably believe. These are the people on the porch. Our patron saint is Edith Keeler. Our unofficial patron saints are Miss Maudie, Boo Radley, and Shoshana Edwards. Our producer is Coralie Day with Scott Knight. Our top patron is Sherlock, the mystery patron. Our Speedy Shine sponsors are Shoshana Edwards and Carrie DeDeo. Speedy Shine thanks you, ladies.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our patrons are Marie Janicki, Mary Rosello, Sandy Brower, Interstellar Frequency, Kevin Boyce, and Joe March. Tisha B is our unofficial Speedy Shine sponsor. She got in to sponsor Speedy Shine before he had his own tier. So thanks, Tisha B. Our additional sponsors are Tigger, Karen Herbert, Alex Oliphant, Jake Margaram, Frau Bluka, Greg Roybal, Robert Blomker II, Cindy Mandel, Amos Stewart, Phil Parkman, Judy W. Morris, Corey, Pavel S., Claude Burt Lansden, Natalie Fredrickson, Elizabeth Bennett, and Zareth. Our supporters are Jackie Jolly, Christine Pavlik, Susan Oskey, Glenn Elfman, Stephanie Hansen, Kim, Deborah Rice, Jamie Sassy, MJ, Roxanne Wolf, Michelle Sylvester, Ursula Phillips, Sarah Nimitz, John G., Christine L. Patterson, Mark Rosema, and Corey. Our first supporter was and is Jareen. Thank you for helping us to shine. As one of the people on the porch advised me, I ain't gonna dim my light for no one. Thank you for shining your light on Speedy Shine and me. Thanks for letting me share my thoughts and ideas with you. Get your episodes of Fred's Front Porch early and commercial-free on Patreon. And now, check out our new website at fredsporch.info. There's no punctuation, and yes, it bugs me too. But welcome to the internet. I'll talk to you next week.